Okay, there are two windows, one for server, another for client. Okay, and for TCP, this is socket programming, means there will be client will make some request, and server will accept that request and process that request and get back to that client. So there will be two programs running. It's not one single program. One will be client, another will be server. To create import socket. Import socket means just assume you have motorbike and it is not working. What you will do? You will reach out to some mechanic, right? You will reach out to some mechanic to fix the problem. Okay. So now mechanic, you have some problem in your bike, you reach out to your mechanic will fix that and get back to you your working bike. Do you need to know how to fix that? You knew that there was some problem with the in that engine or something. You don't need to know that, right? It's the responsibility of that mechanic. So same thing will happen here. We'll use socket. So internal of socket, like mechanic would be socket. So we'll just call that mechanic. That's all. So how do you call that? You can use phone call. And here we use from socket import star. That's all. So from socket import star means socket is that mechanic, import star means I'm importing everything. Whatever knowledge that mechanic knows, I want to import everything. Clear? So socket is your mechanic. Now I'll instruct mechanic how to call mechanic, how to let mechanic know what problem I am facing. Those kind of thing I'll do. So from socket import star. Okay. Now I need to create a socket. What is socket? Last we discussed. Socket is for communication purpose. Client and server wants to communicate. Socket works like a door, that door. Okay, just assume in this room, this is the room, every one of you are hosts. You want to communicate with host in that other room. And that can be happened if you open that door. Right now it is closed, right? So you have to open that door. So if I am a server, like I told last day, 911 or 100. So they are always open, 24/7. They are open. They are waiting for your call. So server is open every time for client request. So they are open. So socket, you may treat socket as a door. So first I am opening the welcoming gate. So creating one socket in the server side. S equals to socket okay. S equals to socket. I have created one socket at the server side, and there are two parameters. So what is parameter? Socket, you may think your mechanic, and parameter is mechanical will not give you, will not provide the service free of cost, right? You have to pay. So parameter, you may think some inputs that you need to provide, like your old bike, which is not working, as well as some dollar, so that that mechanic will get back to you. So socket is that mechanic. I provided two parameters. One is my bike as well as my some dollars, so that it can get back to you. Here AFINET, one parameter. It is saying that connection will be go through the underlying network is IPv4, IP version 4. It is saying the underlying network is IP version 4. We'll talk about IP layer, network layer later. We are currently following top-down approach, application layer. So AF underscore INET is saying the underlying network is IP version 4. And another is, oh, sorry, I make spelling mistake. Another one is sock underscore stream. It is saying that this socket is of type TCP. So this is for TCP socket. For UDP socket, it would be changed. So it is saying, I am creating a TCP socket. And the underlying network is IP version 4. So creating a welcoming socket. Okay. Two things I would like to write here: server name, local host, and server port. Anything like 12,000, anything. So server name, that gentleman needs to know who is the server, right? He knows I am the instructor. So similarly, you need to know who is the server. And to uniquely identify someone, server name as well as port address is important. Name, okay, name means IP address, you may think. IP address will identify which computer you are using. That's okay. But that port number will identify the process that making that request. So inside this laptop, there might be multiple processes are running. Your browser, you are using FileZilla to transfer files, and many others. So port number will identify which process is making that request. So you need both. So server name is localhost because the client and server both resides in my local machine. Okay. So I have created the socket. Okay, use some print statement. If everything goes well, then it will print that value. So print welcoming socket is created in the server side. Okay. So if everything goes well, then it will print welcoming socket is created. Like when I say that I'm opening the floor, or do you have any questions? Like that. So I'm running this one. See the output. What you need to do, server like 911 or 100, that's a fixed number, right? Phone number. It's not that it will be changed dynamically. It's a static phone number. So when a server, always it should have some port number that is fixed. So we need to fix that port number. Here I have assigned 12,000 as server port, but I have not forced the operating system to bind that port number to my socket, right? So I need to do that. is.bind server name, comma, server port. So I am instructing the operating system, hey, this is the IP, this is the address of my server, bind that address to this socket. So it should not be changed, like 100 number or 911, that fixed number. So server is ready, server welcomes, and now what you can, server can do, server is.listen maybe 3. is.listen 3 means server is saying that, okay, when I serve a request, there are maximum 3 queries can wait. So this is the queue length. So maximum 3 will be in waiting state, and others will be dropped out. So suppose when I am serving that gentleman, 3 other students can wait for their turn to ask me questions, and more than 3 will be popped out, or whatever you think will be lost from there. So the queue length is 3. So only 3 processes can wait or 3 clients can wait. Now let's print one statement that the server is ready to receive. Okay, the server is ready to receive. So now I have created server socket, and that is welcoming socket actually. Welcoming socket, and I have also bind the particular server name and server port address to that particular socket. And it can handle only this amount of queue length. So server is ready. Now, I have mentioned you server should be always on, right? It should be always on. So I am using one indefinite loop while true. It is on always. While true means always it will be on. So while true, so at this moment, just assume as a server, I asked you that, okay, do you have any questions? Or I am opening the floor for your questions. That gentleman raised the hand. That means that client wants to connect to me, right? Client wants to connect to me. So as a server, I have to accept that connection, right? When client wants to connect to me, I have to accept the connection as a server. So I need to do that here. So what I did is .accept means that opening door, I have already opened that welcoming door. From that door, I accept the connection request from the client is.accept. Clear? S is the welcoming socket. And through that welcoming socket, I accept the connection from the client is.accept. And it will return me address and C. C is another socket created for that particular person or for that particular client. So here C is that for socket for that particular client, and address is the address of the client. So s.accept, now print I'm printing the address of the client. So printed connected with ADDR. ADDR holds the address of the client. So let's check. Before checking this, let's run this one. See, no output you will get. And check this star in the left. This star means it is running. It is running, or it is waiting to get client's request, because there is no client request so far. So in that right side, I am doing the client part right now. So server part is okay to you, right? You have understood? And if you don't have Python background or any programming background, do you have any problems? I know there will be some syntactical problem. Just memorize that for now. But overall idea is clear, right? That algorithm is clear. Okay. So I'm going to the right side, client side. Same, I will call the socket. So just copy. Server name, server port would be same. That is your just think 100 phone number or 911 emergency helpline. Now again, you need to create a client socket. How do you do that? Same. Just I am changing the variable name. C equals to socket. Again, the underlying network is IP version 4 and it is TCP socket. So let print sorry for the spelling mistake. Client socket is created. Let's run it. Oh, syntactical error. Okay, client socket is created. Clear so far? Very easy. That means that gentleman has raised his hand to raise the hand. Now client socket is created, means he opens the door. Or you may think he mentally he thinks that, okay, let me ask a question to my instructor. So after that, that means he is opening the door. Now he raised the hand. So he will make connection request. So that is c.connect. So he is making that request through that client socket, c.connect, and connect to whom? Connect to the server. So that means server name and server port. You need both. C.connect, server name, server port. That means you have making connection request to the server. So let's run this one. See, when I click run, check the left side, server side. It is saying connected with 127.0. This is the IP address of the client, and 54635 is the port number of the client. And please note that port number I have not assigned. I let operating system do that on behalf of me. Server port number I have assigned using bind call. But in this case, operating system randomly provides some port number. Let me run the client part again. Check that. Right side I am running again, and check left side. See, you have another connected request from the same IP address but different port number. Now operating system provide different port number to that client. So every time if I run client, it will give you different port number. Okay. So this is the, so right now you have you have understood that how to that client is connected properly with the server, and server is getting that connection, right? That's why it is printed that connected with this client. Now make it more interesting. So client will connect to the server. So first of all, that c.connect, when I enter the c.connect server name, server port, after executing this statement, what is happening? That the gentleman is coming to me, we are doing handshaking and making the connection. So underline works are handshaking, TCP handshaking, as well as TCP connection is established. So what we can do now, this server will get back to the client with some message. Right now, server is not sending anything to the client. So let's do something that server will provide, like welcome to 6170, some message to the client. So how to do that? In the left side, I'm editing c.send using send call. C.send, you can write welcome to CSCI 6170. Now it is the server is sending this message, and you need to encode that. You need to encode that message when server will send that message to the client. So c.send welcome to CSCI, and obviously close the connection. So I've closed that connection, and this close is for only this C socket. It is not closing the welcoming socket. Welcoming socket is opened, but it is closing that only socket that I have opened for that particular gentleman, for that particular process. So it is closing that socket, but welcoming socket is still open. So server is sending something. First of all, stop this server side. Now I am running again. Okay. So server is sending something. So as a client, I have to accept that message from the server, right? So you can do this way: receive sentence equals to c dot recv and 1024. It is saying client socket C is receiving from the server, and this parameter 1024 is that receive message size or length. You may consider that 1024 bytes would be that size of length of the message that it is receiving from the server, and I am assigning that message to receive sentence. And obviously here I did previously I did encode. Server sends the message through encoding. I need to decode that. So I did decode and print okay, from server and obviously close the connection. Okay, the right side, see the message sent by the server. From server, welcome to CSCI 6170. So server, so obviously we have demonstrated server and clients are communicating with each other, and they are capable of sending message to each other. Right now, server sent one message to client, and you have received as a client that message and print that message. So make it more interesting. So as a client, you can also send some message to your server, right? So do that. So make the connection, and here you may provide some sentence. What we'll do, client will send one sentence, one or multiple sentences to server, lowercase sentence. And server will get back to the client with uppercase sentence. So that's the work. Okay, very easy. So client will send a sentence with lowercase or mixed of lower and upper cases, and server will get back to that sentence with all upper cases. Okay, so sentence equals to input. So enter a sentence with lower case. Okay, and you store that sentence and you will send that to server. C.send sentence dot, obviously encode, do encoding. Okay, so you have, as a user, you will provide a sentence with lowercase and it will be stored in sentence, and then you will pass that sentence to your server. So server has to accept that sentence before processing. So sentence equals to C dot receive, again 1024, means the message of the receiving message length is 1024 bytes. So it receives sentence, and now it will perform uppercase. So upper sentence. Sorry? Yes. Thank you. You also need to decode that. So when you send something, you will encode. When you receive something, you will decode that. So upper sentence is sentence dot upper, simple. Like upper is a one mechanic, he knows how to do that uppercase. You provide your sentence, he will return back to you that, and you store that in upper sentence. So here C dot send would be upper sentence dot encode. I think everything is right. Okay, let's run again. Okay. It is asking for enter a sentence with lowercase. In the right side, client is asking. And in the left side, you can see connected with that particular client IP address and the port number. So let me write one sentence. Hi, I am what? Chandu. Okay. I am small. Chandu. Who are you? Okay. Enter. See, from server, what you get? Everything in caps. Got the point? So as a client, you send that message, hi, I am Chand. Oh, sorry, I made the mistake. I am Change, who are you? Okay, and server get back to me with that message in capital or uppercase. I'll talk about the assignment. Okay, do you need this code? Okay, then I'll post that on Blackboard. Now talk to the okay, your assignment is about building web server lab. Now we have client and server. Client is not a web browser. So far what we did, client is not a web browser. Now what you need to do, you need to come up with a web server. I have the skeleton code is there already. So that means you are handling HTTP request from your browser. So let me demo you. So this is the code. You can see many similarity with the code that we have done. And this is only for server side. In client side, you don't need to do anything because we are using web browser. So web browser will handle that. Will all that HTTP GET request, those message will be done by web browser. So this is the server side. So you can create web server.py or something. And the rate part that you have to complete. So first thing, let's understand what is expected, the output. What is the expected output that you can expect? So if you run, I'm running that web server.py in my terminal. I'm using terminal. You know why. So, oh, I need to change the server port number. Okay. Make it some random number. Okay. So my server, web server is running. Okay. Just see this message. The web server is up on port 11008. This is the port number and ready to serve. Now, client is the web browser. So I'm opening my Google Chrome. And first I need to know the IP address too. So let me get the IP address for my Mac. So in TCP IP, it is showing this is my IP address, 192.168.162.79. So in this Google Chrome, I am putting this IP address, okay? Colon, I need to provide the port number. That is, what is the port number? I forgot that. 11008. So provide 11008 slash. Now what it is looking for, in the directory web server.py resides in the same directory I have another file called hello world.html. There is one HTML file is there. So hello world.html contains only one message. Let me show you the message. Where it is. Yeah, this is the HTML file that it contains. The HTML file contained in HTML format, hi, welcome to CSCI 6170. That's one message. So that's one thing is there in that hello world.html file. So in this web browser, I have provided the IP address, colon, port number. Then I want to retrieve that hello world.html file. See, when I press enter, it is showing that message in my browser. This is the output that you can expect. I'm showing you that output. It should be clear, right? So your client is your web browser who is making HTTP request to your browser to your server, which is called webserver.py or something. And webserver.py will accept that request and get back to your open that HTML file, extract that content, and get back to your web browser with HTML request, HTTP request. It's not one request. It's an HTTP request. So let me go through that. Just a minute. Okay. So in the left side, you have webserver.pdf. The PDF is already there on the Blackboard. Just check that. And so in the top, the server socket is created. So first from socket import star, we already know. Then server socket equals to socket. Yeah, the underlying network is IPv4 and it is a TCP socket. You have already seen that. Then prepare a server socket. So provide a fixed server port number, any port number, and don't use any port number below maybe 1000. So because they are already been assigned to a particular service. So don't make any changes there. It will create problem. So better to have any port number like 12,000, 14,000, 20,000, anything. Below 65,000, I think. So server port equals to something, and then you need to bind that particular port address to your server. So you call the bind function. And then you will listen for maybe 1 or 3 client. So you need to call listen function. So this is this read before while true. You will do that part. And inside while, so connection socket comma address equals to, you know that. You need to create another socket for a particular client. So you need to do that. And here I have used try except because of handling error messages or different exceptions. If you don't know, just keep that. Don't worry. So message, you will get that message from your from the web server. Sorry, web browser. Browser is working as a client. So here message is using receive function call. You will accept that message. So do that. and you may use 1024 as the message buffer size. And then file name equals to message.split 1. That means it will split using split function. It will break that, it will split the message, and it will take the first part, not the 0th part. Just if you don't know, just skip that, don't worry. Then f equals to open file name 1. That means to know the HTML, hello world.html, that file name. It wants to extract that file name from the URL. So hello world.html. So if here f is opening that particular file. So here it is opening that hello world.html file, and output data is nothing but the content of that file. So using read call, f.read, you will get that message. So output data equals to would be f.read, read method. Then output data, then fill in start. Okay, now you read the content of that file, is hello world.html. Now you need to send that content to the client browser using HTTP. So we have discussed HTTP message should have some header, which will give you the version of HTTP, the status message, as well as the status code. So if everything is okay, so HTTP/1.0 is the protocol, and the version that you are using, status may be okay, and the status code would be something 200. 200 is the okay status code. So first you will pass that, then you will pass the actual message. So then you can send using one loop, you can send one by one, once one letter or one alphabet, one by one, send that using send function call. And it will end, HTTP request should end with, HTTP response should end with /r/n. So the header should be HTTP/1.0 space 200 space OK. That's the header. In the middle, you will pass the actual content of hello world.html. In the end, you will pass using send method, pass /r/n. So this is the format of HTTP response we have discussed last day. So that you need to provide. And close the connection. That's all. And in except part means if the file is not there, you are looking for hello world.html. Suppose if the file is not there, it should give you some error message, that is 404 not found or something. So HTTP/1.1 or something 404 not found. That's all. And close the connection. That's the overall idea. It should not take too much time, right? That's why the deadline is next Monday. Thank you so much.